Hey everybody, Johnny Disc Golf back with another off-season interview. This time I am joined by Team MVPs, Miss Madison Walker. How you doing?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It is a brisk 64 degrees here in San Francisco, not a cloud in the sky, so it's
It's
pretty
warmer there than it is
tragic.
in Florida.
Yeah, are you in Pensacola still?
Yeah, I'm in Pensacola. It's like way up in Northwest Florida, but man, it has been cold for like a week and it will be for another 2 weeks from what I can tell. But by cold, I mean like high 55, low like 40. But
Yeah, no,
like
I feel you. For a,
cold.
for a Floridian and a Californian, that can be like
Mhm.
tough. Throwing a little wind, it gets brutal.
Yeah.
But how has your off season been? It's been like what, 3 months now since the season ended.
Yeah. So usually I'm only home for like a month because I'll like sprinkle some events in Florida like towards the end of the year after tour's over and then start a little earlier because there's Florida events,
Yeah.
during the off season because of the warmth. But I'm not doing that this year. So normally I would just live with my parents just during like the 3 week holiday season ish. But this year I got a house. I'm doing like a short term rental. It was really tough to find something, but I did, and it's been the best thing ever. I haven't had a house to myself in 10 years. So this is wonderful.
Yeah, I was actually talking to Jess Weiss and Garrett Gerthy, and they kind of did the same thing where they found like a
Mhm.
4 month rental in the
Mhm.
Florida area. Had you talked to them? Did you know they were doing that too?
No, they're probably like 6 hours away from me, maybe a little more
Okay,
than that.
big
So
state.
yeah, huge state. That's only halfway.
Yeah. Um, so off season's been good. You've been living, by yourself, doing your thing. But the
Mhm.
biggest news for you over the off season is you have signed with Team MVP. How you
Mhm.
feeling like today?
It's awesome. So last year I was with Aria Discs and they're great, but the disc production right now made it really hard for them to get discs. So it was kind of weird to like walk that line where you're, advertising and trying to throw discs, but we don't even have any. So
Yeah.
they did get some at the end of the year and now they're focusing a little bit more on like disc dies. But it's nice this year to be able to be with an established disc manufacturer where there are discs to be had and
Yeah.
also kind of and they're just they came at me with a lot of support and it feels
Hmm.
really good. Like came at me pretty aggressively and were like, we want you whether or not you're playing events, whether or not however much you tour, we want you on the team. So it feels like coming home. It feels awesome.
Yeah, you love that. Wow, and that's something that is part of your narrative, right? Is you were playing a ton of events for your years, but
Mhm.
then in the past couple, you've kind of like, maybe shied away from doing a full-time tour.
Yeah, kind of.
Why has
In 2020 it was COVID, so like I decided not to tour because it felt kind of funny
Yeah.
to do that because there was just so many uncertainties and I don't know, I'm just pretty aware of it. And then last year I played 15 events, so I mean it was still, or 17. I don't know. It was still a pretty full season for me while working for the Pro Tour as well,
Hmm.
and then trying to get back into the swing of things. And I mean, I made the Pro Tour championships. That was my competition goals for the year. So yeah,
Hmm.
I felt good about it, and I'll be doing about the same this year, I think.
Okay, cool. So we'll be able to see you at plenty of events. I know
Hmm.
you were in lead card contention a couple of times. I remember like
Hmm.
specifically, oh gosh, was it Waco that you were on
Yep.
lead card? Yeah, I knew it. Got a good
Yeah.
memory. Um, but let's talk about the new deal though. MVP, obviously, I would say it's an up and coming brand. That was probably 2 years ago, and before
Mhm.
James Conrad threw in the historic shot. But
Yep.
what's it been like working with a new company now? You were with Innova for years, right?
Yeah, and Innova obviously is one of the oldest and like most established companies. So it always, they were always able to. They had their way of doing things. So it's been interesting learning a new way and kind of uh, working my way into a company that's different. But like
Hmm.
with the pandemic, everyone made so much like covered so much ground, I
Yeah.
guess, as far as earning and growing. And every disc golf company right now has expanded, so it's awesome. And it's, I think, from what I've heard, the best time to switch sponsors, and I
Yeah.
feel really, really good about that because they have a little bit more to offer. So it makes the next season exciting because I have more than I've ever been able to earn at other sponsorships.
Yeah, great. And I think you hit the nail on the head. This offseason, especially with, and I'll get to this a little bit later, especially the Europeans coming over in the FPO field, it's like strike while the iron's hot and you have a
Yeah.
bunch of top five finishes. Now,
Uh-huh. Yes.
um, walk me through the timeline. Is
Mhm.
this like an all off season thing? You said they came at you pretty hard, so my guess is they were
Yeah.
probably, talking to you mid season.
Yeah, well, we started talking, yeah, as far back as Maple Hill,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit before that. But the way it's kind of weird right now because with MVP being such a small company so recently, um, they kind of are having to like change up the way that they do things. So things are handled a little bit later in the year than like, for instance, the Pro Tour, who is like expanded for the past 5 years.
Yeah.
They have like, they're getting the ball rolling in like October. Like when the season's ending, they're ready to go ahead and start for the next year. So it was a little more delayed than I would have liked, and also more than MVP would have liked. But that's the way their schedule is right now, and that's something that maybe it'll change in the future. But at this point, it's just trying to overlap what it means to be a Pro Tour athlete versus what it means to be sponsored by MVP.
Sure. How has it been with the new discs? Like, I mean, I think good. MVP is like unique in that they were kind of newer on the game, and a lot of people, like, there's just names everywhere, and it's hard to figure out what disc does what,
Oh yeah.
compared to like a Discmania or a Prodigy where it's like very scientific. So if you're trying to, it's clear to the outside.
Yeah.
For that moment. How has it been learning all these new discs? Have you had someone there shepherding you by? Like, is it
Well,
overwhelming?
I've in the past I've almost taken sponsorship deals with Dynamic Discs, and I've almost taken sponsorship deals with Prodigy. And so like I've been able like to be fortunate enough to learn a lot of molds, and I can kind of relate across companies. But MVP is one that I never quite got to dabble in. And so it was very intimidating. Like I had I mean, the plastics, cosmic, neutron, like it was just all new. So it took some research, but the thing is like their disc golf community is amazing. And people were already messaging me saying, I know you throw this disc. This is what a good thing to check out. Cause sometimes, you know how flight numbers are, like they get you enough information to get in the ballpark, but they're not necessarily always accurate, dead on accurate. So something that I thought would work maybe wouldn't be as good as I hoped it would be. But basically, I've been talking to a million people. The guys at Another Round Disc Golf are amazing. They contacted me. They just did a whole MVP order, and so they knew everything. I've been talking to them. The people at MVP are so helpful. So it's been a learning experience, and it was intimidating. But I mean, you can essentially learn any disc. And now that I've got it in my hands and started throwing it, like I don't want to say pleasantly surprised because I had no doubts, but man, I love how they fly. Like I am so excited.
What is there any that have jumped out, like molds in particular, that you feel like is like, oh man, this is going to be like the workhorse?
Yeah. So when I was looking at the flight number chart, my last signature disc at Innova was a TL3, and still one of my favorite discs ever, as far as like that flight, like straight fairway driver. And I look over at MVP and they have like a 6.5 glide disc, which is so weird. Like there's like a 0.5 margin, but I don't know why I was intrigued. So I like got a couple of them, and the servo is like, I'm loving it right now. I still haven't got to try all of those, but I love that weird little 6.5 range. And I've been throwing a lot of those. The servo and the signal are two that are standout right now, especially I play a lot of woods golf. So they're great in the woods. There's actually a lot of standouts. I'm really excited about building my bag, and there hasn't been a lot of discs that I threw that I didn't like. So
this is like something that I always try and ask the people who have switched manufacturers, but like touring and playing disc golf and using the same bag, can get very monotonous, and you step up to a hole, you know what you're already throwing. Has it been like reinvigorating, like igniting the flame to be like throwing all these different, it's like you're learning the whole thing?
Yeah. I mean, so last year because Aria had a hard time getting discs at the beginning of the year, I was forced to throw an open bag for a little while. And so that was exciting because I got to try my friends' molds. I got to try, people that I haven't ever got to throw their discs, and just molds that I haven't pulled out in a long time, whatever. So that was exciting, but also a little stressful because I wasn't necessarily able to get a bunch of backups. But this year, like, it's nice to kind of have a little bit more of like a standard of what, like it's not infinite possibilities. Like I don't necessarily need that. I like it being a little bit more dialed in, and I feel like all the gaps have been easily filled. And for some reason, throwing discs, especially those over molds, I always liked how over molds felt. So just getting to throw those and see how they fly a little differently has been like I'm like geeking out a little bit. I'm a big science nerd, so that's why all the MV people are like, I feel like you've been here, you should have been here all along. You fit in
Yeah.
with us, and I really feel that way too. I'm like, yeah, loving it.
Well, speaking of new discs and also speaking of the community, from what I hear, you're in a bit of need for a few discs. So could
Yeah.
you talk about maybe discs that you're missing or can't get a hold of and could rely on the
Well,
community?
so I have to throw lightweight discs because of the finger injury I've been dealing with
Mhm.
for a little while. And I can still throw fine, but just I have to throw a little bit slower speed and lighter weight discs. And right now, with the production the way it is right now with the pandemic, all discs are sold out everywhere. And it's hard for companies to focus on making lightweight discs because they're not the most commonly sought after discs. So I'm having to like put out a call for lightweight discs for if anyone has them and was willing to or wants to get rid of them. I have a little stipend to reimburse people, but in reality, it's not as big as maybe I need to build my bag and get all the backups. Also, just to test this out because a lot of molds
Yeah.
I need to just feel and throw in lighter weight. So I have to like it's kind of weird, but I have to put out like a call for lighter weight molds and I've heard only good things about the MVP community. And so far, people have started sending me stuff before I even asked for discs. So it's like I already have like a nice little stack. So yeah, that's kind of weird and different, but MVP, they're catching up. They said they will be caught up this year and it'll be back to normal. But right now it's going to be kind of a weird gap. And I would appreciate if anyone has lightweight, slow, like 9-speed or less drivers laying around that they don't like. I'm looking.
All right, you heard it here first. APB, slow speed, lightweight. The gyronauts or the gyro community as a whole is like
Yeah.
A plus.
Oh my God. MVP, Axiom, and Streamline. And man, for all the people that have reached out, I am going to get back to you. Like if people that are watching this are probably like, I sent you a message saying I have like 100 messages. And so I like want to say thank you to everyone. And I am going to get back to all of them. And I like feel so welcomed and warmed. So like really thank you for everyone that already has reached out and does.
Yeah, the community for real, like it feels like Rocky Horror Picture Show-esque, you know what I mean? Where like there's just this cult-like fervor about it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to experience Gyropalooza. That's always hectic out there in Michigan.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll do it in person. Last they've been doing it digitally. But how about signature discs? Is there going to be any, like Elaine King
Yeah.
has the glow reactor? Have you guys been talking about that at all?
Yeah, definitely. I still like I haven't felt enough discs to be able to decide, my favorite yet. I already have like a couple that I am in love with that I'm bagging. Like I said, the servo I'm absolutely obsessed with. But but yeah, I will have signature discs, plural. They're gonna let me pick a couple. I'm very excited to do stamps that are, excuse me, those little like
Yeah, the triple foil
stamps.
Oh
Yeah,
my
I've
God,
never
unreal.
gotten to do that before. I'm so excited about that.
Mhm.
So there will be some designs coming out. And the cool thing about MVP is they value artists. So like they're
Yes.
super cool with me coming up with my own designs. They're super cool with supporting other artists that want to work with me. So like I'm really excited about artwork coming out and obviously the discs as well. I've been very happy with.
Yeah, really lots to look forward to. The triple foil looks bananas. We
Yeah.
get for San Francisco the Safari, we always get a batch of MVP, and they're the best looking ones by
They
far. The stamps are
are.
insane. It's so good.
Their graphic designers are so good too. So I get to work with
Mhm.
them as
Yeah.
well. Yeah, they're awesome.
Okay, well, enough about the manufacturer, the sponsorship, all that's great. But one thing that people don't know, or might not know, is you mentioned it earlier. You have a role with the Disc Golf Pro Tour.
Mm-hmm.
Could you speak to that? What's your position? What's your role with them? How have you been liking it?
So they hired me last year, but it was kind of I had to like kind of build my role, and I had the gist of what I was going to be doing or what I hope to be doing. But I tried going on tour full time while building this role, and I need to learn a lot about time management. I learned that, but this off season I've had time to like dial it in, so I get to be a little bit more active in the role. And so right now I'll just be working with tournament directors, making pro tour events have lower impact environmentally. The pro tour also wants to have they want to give back in any way they can. They want like that. They want to go above and beyond to do that and set an example and make the Pro Tour an environmentally sustainable company and not just someone that thinks about it because they have to be. Like they came out wanting to do it. So I get to kind of dial that in. And then I'm also environmental and special initiatives, which is like women's initiatives and diversity inclusion initiatives. So that is a little out of my comfort zone. Like I'm passionate about it, but I'm not experienced. And I'm trying to learn what that role looks like. So again, anyone that has questions or advice or anything like that, I'm really open to it. Maybe, I don't know if we can pop my email address in somewhere, but
sure. I'll definitely have it down in the description for inquiries.
Yeah. So, so that's something that's something that just kind of got added on at the, after I got hired, and I'm really excited to work on it. But again, it's something I'm figuring out as I go.
Yeah. And that makes sense. And frankly, the Pro Tour is figuring out as they go. It's like, kind of like the resounding mantra of the entire tour is like, we're really just inventing this, and scene as a whole, we're inventing it as we go.
And it's so impressive. Like behind the scenes, I'm sure, I know as an echo chamber in the touring professional community, we all know how much we love the Pro Tour, but like maybe we don't say it enough out loud. And like, I want to be clear, like the Pro Tour has been so awesome, especially with women's disc golf. Like it is, I don't know, I just feel so lucky that we have an organization that is so forward thinking. And it's so cool. Yes, we are figuring it out. Yes, sometimes it gets a little sloppy, a little crazy, but like in reality, the loose ends are tied up so quickly. I mean, it has been so cool to be a part of all of it.
Yeah, I completely agree, completely empathize and share that sentiment. Like just being a part of this whole growth thing has been like, you know, for me, just personal growing too. It's just, everything has been great. And
you just got hired on too, right?
I did.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Am I allowed to say that?
You're allowed to say whatever you want. As of this past Wednesday, I am officially a full-time Pro Tour employee. So
about dang time.
Thank you. What happens exactly with this channel and these interviews as the season goes forward, I don't exactly know, but it's something that I'm looking forward to. And frankly, just like being included in planning and all that stuff has been like a game changer for me. And I think that we're going to be able to accomplish nutty things this year. So stay on the lookout for that.
Yeah.
Enough about this whole disc golf pro touring self-congratulatory session. As much as I do love it.
High-fiving.
Exactly. Let's talk about the golf a little bit. Last year you had a solid season. It's not like you were taking down tournaments, but if I know you, my guess is that you weren't necessarily going in thinking I have to win each of these events.
No.
So what's your perspective on last season? How do you feel like it went, you know, from your perspective?
So when I got injured in 2019, I was playing like the best disc golf of my life. And it was a bummer. I mean, but that happens sometimes. And I've had to like kind of work through that and kind of relearn how to play disc golf with this taping that I'm doing to protect the joint that I injured. I kind of just have to face the facts. I don't know if it's something that's going to go away. It's like it's turned into like a whole tendonitis joint thing. So I have to like basically take my medicine. If I want to keep playing, I got to play in this new way. And I had to like relearn how to putt and relearn how to throw because I have to throw 3-finger sidearms and my backhands. You only have 2 points or 3 points of contact instead of 4. So like my fan grip is all different now because these 2 fingers are taped together. So I throw a lot more hyzery and I have to throw a lot less stable stuff. So it's a whole different game, especially in the wind. So I relearned last year in the off season, and I was actually very pleasantly surprised with how last year went. I had the goal to make the Pro Tour Championships. That was really my only goal. And other than that, it was just try to get the disc in the basket because like putting is hard with your fingers, with tape on your fingers. And especially, and it might be mental, you know, it's probably a majority mental, but I was happy with how the season went, and I've had more time to figure it out and to learn how to play with that way. And I'm feeling more confident than ever with a hyzer flip shot. And with my 3-finger sidearm, I won't be doing clinics about that style because it's not right, but it's working. And, hopefully this season goes better. I'm spending more time than ever putting because I think if I can get that dialed in, I will be more competitive, just having that confidence on the green. And it's my favorite part of disc golf. So it's been nice to practice putting all the time.
Yeah, and your putt is very much like an aggressive spin putt. So like not having confidence in the green with that type of putt is, you know, can be dangerous. I'm sure you know all too well.
Yeah, the preserve last year, don't go look at my scores, but I will say it was the most I've ever putted in one event ever. I'm telling you that I was 4 and 5 putting. It was
Oh
unbelievable. So
my gosh.
that just if I can keep that from ever happening again, I think I will. And I don't think it will because that is entirely
Yeah.
mental. And I've been
Yeah.
working a lot on my mental game. So yeah, I'm
Um,
feeling good.
you telling this story about your injury, overcoming it, kind of relearning how to play and how to be a disc golfer within that really reminds me of AJ Risley,
Mm-hmm.
someone who was competitive in the open scene, almost won Ledgestone in
Mm-hmm.
2018, I want to say, but
Yeah,
got that
19,
injury.
18. Yeah.
Yeah, 1918, one of the two. But he got the injury and kind of struggled relearning form and now just
Mm-hmm.
took a media position with DD. So I think it's probably fair to say that we won't necessarily be seeing him on the pro tour.
Yeah.
Did you talk to him at all? Did you like relate
No,
with him at all?
no, I haven't talked to him at all. I mean, touched base with him briefly as soon, like as he was taking that first year off, because I just
Hmm.
know how hard it is to take time away, like to be forced to take time away
Yeah.
with an injury. And it's so easy to just kind of get left behind. I mean, sponsors, they care to an extent, but not really. And I don't want to
Yeah.
say, I don't want to like trash sponsors because they do a lot for us, but like if you're not playing disc golf, you're not of much value, and
Exactly.
it shows in the numbers and it shows in what contract you'll get. So it can be brutal. It really can. And so I feel for him. And sometimes it stinks because disc golf is such a repetitive use sport, especially with field work to get better. Like you're out there throwing over and over and over. You're
Hmm.
doing the same motion over and over again. And it's going to set you up for repetitive use injuries that sometimes may not ever go away, or at
Yeah.
least require like years off from
Hmm.
playing. So yeah, it's a bummer, and it's a lot to come back from. And for people out there struggling with them and trying to play through them, like I feel for you. I wish I had a magic medicine for you, but
Yeah. I mean, the bright side of most people who are playing through repetitive use injuries is that their annual salary is not tied to them doing that. And
yeah.
so, yeah, like I can imagine how.
It's crazy. Then your self-worth gets all tangled up in there
Yeah, no,
too.
exactly. No,
Yeah.
exactly. Like your
Yes.
identity is tied to this thing and you
Mhm.
can't do it. It's like, who am I? So I respect, appreciate, and sympathize with you fighting back and really like relearning it and
Yeah.
relearning the joy in it. You know what I mean?
Yep. I almost left, but after the pandemic, with disc golf exploding, it's like when you're already excited, it got even more exciting because all of a sudden all this love, and I mean money, of course,
Yeah.
but like a
Yeah.
lot of love, a lot of new love. And I love like a new player's mental when they come in, it's their first time and they're like just starting to like get that
Yep.
snap and see a disc fly and they get so excited. I like love that. I think that's the coolest thing ever. That's why I like teaching kids.
Hmm.
So it's a hard time to leave. Like, even though my injury is frustrating and maybe
Yeah.
I'm not up to the competition level I'd like to be, it is so hard to walk away right now because there's so much love and growth in the sport. So yeah.
100%. Yeah, you nailed it. It really is a crazy time to be involved.
Yeah.
Let's go to this year, this upcoming
Mm-hmm.
season. Do you have any goals? Are you like an outcome goal person? Are you like, I just want to enjoy each and every day, wake up with a smile on my face? Like, what are your aspirations for this year?
I like how it's funny. I've been living there trying to decide that because sometimes goals do set up expectations,
Mhm.
and I don't know if I thrive under intense expectations. Some people love that pressure. I'm trying to even continue to learn myself. Even at 33, I don't know what I need,
Yeah.
but I do think some like like attainable goals do help. And in reality, small performance goals. I want my putting percentage to be 85% inside the
Hmm.
circle. And I think that is very attainable. So I have little goals like that, but some of the more important goals aside from competition is this will be my second year ever touring by myself. So
Mm,
I'm going to have a
that's
new
big.
vehicle. Hopefully, I'm not sure what my situation is yet. It's really tough to find vehicles right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
But
Especially for
I will.
reasonably priced. It's like, good
Yeah,
luck.
oh, yeah. On a small budget, it's
Yeah.
impossible. So I will be touring by myself. So my goals are more just trying to keep myself feeling satisfied and invigorated while doing something that's, physically demanding and exhausting. And so it's more like just trying to get into good habits before I leave for tour. And being good at relying on myself and feeling strong as an individual. So
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of times those are the best goals, right? It's like, we can plan to win a tournament, but then you get a spit out and you did everything you can, and it,
And then
it
you
just doesn't
start thinking
matter.
about your pay, and then you start thinking about what you're going to eat. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying not to live there. That's never good for an athlete.
Yeah, 100%. So speaking about maybe not great for an athlete,
Mhm.
especially one who's trying to podium every single time, we have a fleet of very talented Europeans coming over
Mhm.
that are going to start to turn those top fives into top sevens, top eights, and
Yep.
those top tens into like the cash line. Is that something that you're looking forward to? Is that something that you're borderline fearing? Like, where's your mindset with all the Europeans coming over?
Like as a competitor, yes, it does make me a little bit nervous, but in reality, with golf, what I like about golf is that you're not, yes, you are competing against other people, but you're really just competing against yourself. And to be a good golfer, I think to be the best golfer you're going to be, that should be your only goal, is competing against you at that point, just trying to get better than yourself. And so if there's more talented competition coming into the field, it would never make me upset or
Yeah.
nervous, or like, the sport is growing and it's cool. Not only are a bunch of European women coming over, I think that we have more new women trying to tour than ever this year. So like, it is so cool and so exciting. And I mean, I always love to see new faces on cards. Playing with the same women every weekend is great because everyone's awesome, but like, cool to meet some new people and have new people out there. But I would say I'm a little nervous about prize money, of course, because my standing might change from what it has in the past. But I mean, I've already kind of had to swallow that pill the past couple of years with the injury. And I feel pretty confident about it. I think playing smart still gets you a lot of places in
Yeah.
FPO, and a lot of these Europeans can throw far. That's one thing that makes me nervous, is like, the distance is not there, but I think playing smart will still keep me in the mix, especially on the wooded courses that I'm trying to prioritize playing.
Yeah. At the end of the day, too, it's not as if, Kristen Tatar is going to come over and like D you up and you have to like get past her, right? I mean, like you're still just playing the same game.
Yeah.
So that helps.
Yeah.
What's
And if you live outside that, it can really affect your game. So I like go out of my way not to go out of there.
Yes. I know from personal experience, being a mediocrely skilled golfer, the second you start thinking about other people, like my game goes to garbage.
Oh
and
yeah, it's the worst thing you can do.
Things. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's end it on a little bit of a high note. Give me one
Mm-hmm.
thing that you are looking forward to most, or particularly looking forward to about the 2022 season.
Ooh, there's a lot. Um, I think I'm excited about seeing how the tournaments change, because the Pro Tour has already been so awesome and like so much has changed. I mean, think about last year compared to
Oh my,
2019. Like they had the
yeah.
pandemic year to get better and still they did somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to see how the tournaments change and what they look like this year, because I think there's some big, awesome activities like potentially in the works. And so I'm excited to see what a disc golf tournament looks like now, because we used to not have spectators, and
Yeah.
now it's going to be like almost like a little mini festival thing. So I'm excited to see what events look like and to like live the life of a disc golf event, not the way it has been, but the way it will be.
100%. It really is starting to feel like these little events and not just a tournament that's going on, and it's been really satisfying to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I have for the interview, though. I wanted to give you a chance to thank anyone you want, shout out sponsors, anything like that. Floor is yours.
Obviously thanks to MVP for believing in me in this weird time. I'm super honored about that and so excited to start my partnership with them. Upper Park Disc Golf Bags, they're another person there. I've been with them for 7 years. I believe in their product more than anything in the world. Like, I'm obsessed with their bags. So I'm excited to be working with them. Disc Golf Strong, always shout him out. He has changed my life. If you're looking for a way to shake up your routine, or you do have a bunch of injuries like I do, check his stuff out, because it was the biggest game changer for all of my other injuries. That's why I only have little tiny injuries now on finger and wrist. And I have no back, neck, shoulder. I don't get those injuries anymore because Disc Golf Strong. Yeah. Other than that, I'll be paddling a lot of rivers this year, and
I know that.
picking
I'm
a lot of
confident about that.
Yeah, picking a lot of mushrooms. Come talk to me about nature stuff anytime, please. I love it so much. It's what keeps me going every day.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Thank you so much for your time, Madison. Really, I can't wait to go foraging at some point in some forest somewhere. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But that's about all I have for this interview. We'll catch up
Cool.
later, I'm soon. Thank you so much. And for all of you at home, if you would like coverage of all things disc golf, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.